Okay, perfect. Well, let's step over here. So thanks for stopping by. I have basically just like 2 minutes of questions, and then I'll scan your code, and then I can send you guys this content. Do you also have a podcast?
I don't have one yet, but it's going to launch in March.
Okay, come on over as well. We'll get both of you guys in here. All right, who wants to start? Okay, well, come on over here. We're doing camera as well. So
Okay.
Let's start with tell us your name.
My name is SabineKvenberg.
Okay, where are you from?
I live in Florida now, but originally I'm from Germany.
Okay, and you have a podcast. What's the name of your podcast?
The podcast called Become, and it's all about that we have to become the person that we are meant to be so we can live the life we are destined to live.
I can very much relate to that. I'm almost 50, and I think it wasn't until I was about 48 that I kind of like started to, learn some lessons that really are helping me. It's a long journey, but I'd definitely be interested in listening to your podcast. So what would you say in terms of, growing your podcast has been the biggest challenge that you've overcome, as well as the biggest pain points that you've overcome?
Well, the first podcast that I started failed miserably. So I was in the 75% statistic of all podcasts that fail in the first year.
That's a very common story.
Yes. So last year I launched this podcast called Become. This time I did it differently. I did my homework, I did the research, and I built community to really get it started at a point that I had people that promoted it for me.
Yes, exactly. And so what are you seeing in terms of growth now?
So I can see that it's slowly growing, and it goes through periods, right? But I also started getting some help with promoting the SEO and so forth, and that really made a big difference.
Yeah, now are you doing your own editing? Are you kind of like a one-person show doing it all, or do you have a team of people that help you out?
Right now, I'm a one-person show, and the reason is I know too much to yet give it away. I have that, I want to make sure I have in control of everything, and I really wanted to learn so I know what I'm doing. But I do understand that if I want to grow, I have to give it away. I have to let go of things. That, I think, is the hardest part for me.
No, I totally get that. I have a hard time delegating certain things as well, but you're right. I think a lot of podcasters don't really think about growing their show. They more think about just the interviewing and the editing and stuff like that, and that's where they're spending their time. But really, to your point, where you're going to start to see those big download numbers is when, it kind of starts with the content of your premise, like how specific is your podcast premise, because, your audience is going to want to connect with a very specific message and consume that content. But it also, like I said, are you doing your own editing? They are hard things to give away, but anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by. What do you think about this assertion here that you have to be rich to make it in podcasting?
Oh, no, you don't have to. But you have to be very specific. Yes, you need to know your why. Why do you want to start the podcast? It can be a hobby, which is perfectly fine. But if you have your why and your what figured out and the when, then it's much, much easier to continue and make it successful.
I love it, and I totally agree with that. Well, thank you for stopping by. Let's get you over here. All right, so